Hello, everyone. My name is Reginald. I did my interview on healthcare reform. So, I actually interviewed a healthcare professional who is the co-founder and administrator of Best Home Care Inc. It's a residential uh, service agency that provides skilled or non-skilled nursing care in homes. The recruiter nurse is that I interviewed is responsible for recruiting as well as the onboarding process for new hires. She also manages the daily operations of business and scheduling, client complaints, and organizing. So my first question to her was, um, well, I recently read an article from healthcare.gov that states, for plan years through 2018, if you can afford health insurance but choose not to buy it, you may pay a fee called the Individual Shared Responsibility Payment when you file your federal taxes. And I asked the question, do you think it's fair for any individual to have to pay a fee for not wanting to purchase health insurance? And the recruiter's answer was, in my opinion, nobody should be penalized for not choosing to purchase health insurance. Um, so the second question that I asked, and this is going to be a pretty long, drawn out question. Um, I read another article um, by Charles Milligan, and he writes for Health Affairs. He says, on June 28th, 2012, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld virtually all of the coverage provisions of the Affordable Care Act, the ACA. Health insurance exchanges will move forward with advanceable tax credits provided to individuals between 138 and 400% of the federal poverty limit. Insurance companies will be barred from discriminating against individuals on the basis of health status or pre-existing conditions. Insurance carriers will follow community rating principles in the individual and small group markets to protect access to insurance. Annual and lifetime limits will be prohibited. Large employers will pay a penalty if too many of their employees abandon employer-sponsored insurance in favor of subsidized coverage in exchange. And individuals must purchase insurance or pay a penalty unless they qualify for a hardship exemption. So it seems here that the Affordable Care Act is limiting its power to the less fortunate and is making good on keeping them healthy. But still, individuals must purchase insurance or pay a penalty unless they qualify for a hardship exemption. So it seems um, that those poverty-stricken communities are still at a disadvantage. And it seems also that the middle class are the ones who are um, having to pay a penalty because they're the ones that possibly could afford to pay for insurance but might not choose to do so to get insurance. So, well, my question to the recruiter was, what about the very rich? If they choose not to buy health insurance because of their wealth, should they be penalized? And the recruiter's response to that question was, in my opinion, rich, poor, or middle class should not be penalized at all. It is their freedom of choice and should be respected by the government. And so, after hearing both of her responses, I have to agree with her. I do not think that the government should have the right to make its citizens choose between purchasing healthcare insurance and paying a penalty for not purchasing it. I believe that citizens should have the right to waive insurance if they feel they don't need it or they don't want it. So, yeah, healthcare insurance, I guess it's a great thing for some people, but in some cases, not everybody should have to have it if they don't want it. Thank you very much for listening to my interview. These are my references for the articles that I read. And again, thank you for listening to my interview.